the Good Samaritan. Once upon a time, in the ancient land of Judea, there lived a man who was an expert in religious law. One day he approached Jesus and asked, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus, knowing the man's intentions, replied with a question of his own, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" The expert answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus nodded in approval. "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." But seeking to justify himself, the expert asked, "And who is my neighbor?" In response, Jesus told him a story. A man was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and left him half dead by the side of the road. Soon, a priest happened to come along the same road. When he saw the injured man, he crossed to the other side and continued on his way, ignoring the man's suffering. Likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw the wounded man, also passed by on the opposite side without offering any help. But then, a Samaritan, a despised outsider in the eyes of the Jews, came along. When he saw the injured man, he was filled with compassion. He bandaged the man's wounds, poured oil and wine on them, and lifted him onto his own donkey. The Samaritan took him to an inn and took care of him throughout the night. The next day he gave money to the innkeeper, saying, "Take care of him, and if you spend more than what I have given you, I will repay you when I return." Jesus then turned to the expert in the law and asked, "Which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers?" The expert replied, "The one who showed him mercy." Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." The moral of the story is clear. Our neighbor is not just the person who looks like us or believes the same things we do. Our neighbor is anyone who is in need, regardless of their background or circumstances. And true love is shown through acts of compassion and mercy without prejudice or discrimination.